This is Jackson Bush when he showed up to work Astroworld as a security guard. It wasn't just his first time working security at a concert, it was his first time ever at a concert. He says he got the job through a text message along with the other 200 people he saw in line. Do they have any qualifications?
I doubt it because I didn't show anything.
You didn't show anything?
I didn't even show my ID.
And you were in there as a security guard?
There as a security guard.
Did you have a uniform?
I had a uniform. They gave us vests. I was already in this all black. I was already in all black.
So wait, so you show up, they don't ask for your ID, they don't ask for any certification, and they just hand you the uniform?
They didn't even ask for a phone number. But see, that's...
They know your name?
They know my name. We wrote our name on like a sign and shit.
Even with no experience, Jackson says he was put right at the front of the stage.
And it was reminding me of like noodles popping out of like a spaghetti bowl. Like, you know, it was they were that tight. They were tight. Because half the people that we tried to pull out, we couldn't get them out. I literally seen this guy take his last breath. I seen 3 police officers, 2 red shirt medics, probably 5 people go to and do the compressions and, you know, to try to bring him back, steady pumping his chest. And see, me, I've never been in the heat of the moment. I've never seen death. I've never seen it.
Jackson's uncle also showed up to work security with him and was also hired on the spot. He was caught in a stampede and broke his hand. Both men say they are now traumatized by what they saw and had no training. Do you feel like you were qualified for this situation?
I do. I don't believe I was prepared.
You don't think you were prepared?
I was qualified because I believe that if we were all prepared the right way, that stuff wouldn't have happened the way it did, you know? The way it did. And honestly, even the people, the amount of people that passed and went unconscious, you know, the amount of injuries could have been avoided.
And Jackson does have the lowest level of security license, but he says he has never worked an event, anything of this size, anything like this. We reached out to Live Nation and all of the security companies involved in the event, but we did not get a response. Marnie?
Brian, what does he think was the turning point that prompted the surge? He was right there when it all happened. Was there one instance that he thinks kicked it all into gear?
Well, it was interesting asking him that because he says he doesn't blame Travis Scott. He, of course, thinks he needed more training and the other security officers needed more training. But the main thing he blames are the barricades. He says they were in the wrong place. Too many people were allowed close to the stage. And he says the barricades right up along the stage, they didn't give at all. They were so firm that he says the people who he saw who were pushed right up against the front barricades, they couldn't even breathe. They couldn't even exhale or inhale because there was just no room and there was no give with those barricades.
Brian, thank you. I'm going to be talking to our security expert about those barricades in just a moment. Brian Entin live in Houston. There are a lot of questions tonight about who is responsible for this tragedy. Why was the concert allowed to go on for so long after things did get out of control? Correspondent Marcy Martin has that part of the story tonight. Marcy.
Good evening, Marnie. In the days following the Astroworld tragedy, lawsuits, scrutiny have started to pile up against not only the concert organizers, but also Travis Scott himself. And one of the biggest questions that does remain unanswered is, in a case like this, where does that culpability lie? And how have other artists in the past handled these types of situations? Authorities continuing to comb through the chaos of Astroworld. At the height of the deadly crowd surge, rapper Travis Scott briefly mentioning fans needing help.
It's an ambulance in the crowd. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
But kept playing for nearly 40 minutes.
Whoa. Here we go.
The artist receiving swift blowback from fans who pointed out how other performers have handled this before. From the Foo Fighters.
I need for everybody to make sure that everybody's okay.
To Little Pump.
Yo, paramedics! Somebody's having a seizure, we need paramedics!
And Linkin Park.
When someone falls, what do?
Tony Busby is one of the lawyers suing show organizers. His clients, the Acostas, lost their son. They claim the concert was doomed from the start.
Does that look organized, well run? Does that look like somebody took the time, effort, and energy to properly plan a concert to keep the individuals who pay their money and attend safe? Or does that look like utter chaos?
But in the end, who will be held responsible.
Since he didn't injure anyone, we're talking about liability based on his not doing something.
Sandra Garrett-Thompson is a law professor at the University of Houston. She thinks Live Nation will ultimately take the brunt of legal ramifications.
So there's one question whether morally you have an obligation to do something, but the issue here is whether he had a legal obligation to act, and that is not clear that he does.
If criminal charges are filed, Thompson says they could range from assault to negligent homicide, possibly even manslaughter. And another piece of the puzzle you have to talk about is Travis Scott's endorsements. You know, this is a heavily endorsed celebrity with partnerships with heavyweight companies from McDonald's all the way to Nike. Professor Thompson did tell me today she has no doubt a lot of these companies are having internal moral and legal conversations about how to move forward with the rapper and whether or not they should cut ties. Marnie.